to Marty. Hopefully he got it.
Call a meeting to order right for the presentation, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll open the meeting with public comment. We have a very short time before we have a conference call. If you'd like to go ahead.
Good morning, Jennifer Dalrymple on behalf of the American Legion. We had left a letter for the commissioners a few weeks ago concerning a recycle bin for aluminum recycling at the Cedar site, and we've not received a response, and we would like to know the status of that letter.
That was sent to our solid waste
Yes.
board, right?
And I don't know if they've had a discussion on it or not. The other thing is, I think we're all pretty much in support of it. The other thing is, the Silos Campground is under a new contract with a new manager, so you might contact them and see about collecting their aluminum out there.
Okay,
Because they have aluminum cans, or I don't know what they do with the recycling process.
okay.
But we'll get.
Well, I know the 4-H used to have the one at Winston, so we didn't want to compete with that whatsoever on that side of the county, but we were looking at trying to do it here in Townsend.
And then the Solid Waste Board has a working meeting Friday,
Okay,
so I will try to attend that and get some kind of an answer from them.
okay.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So I guess we're waiting here for Marty to come on. I would like there's a 400.
Are we
Yes.
on public comment?
Go ahead.
I just want to give you a brief update on something. So, we've hired a deputy county attorney. She's going to start next Monday, the 15th. So I will have her come and I'll introduce her to the commission. I do have a, kind of a set number of tasks ready for her to do in the civil world. That'll be her main first point of emphasis, and then misdemeanor prosecution. And then, so I'll introduce her to, and I'll take her around and introduce her to the county and everybody. But in terms of her work here, you'll be seeing her, unless there's a schedule conflict, you'll be seeing her pretty much on a regular basis. We did get confirmation that we got a grant from the Board of Crime Control, and that will fund that should fund her position, if not all, almost all of the difference between the part-time and the full-time deputy county attorney. So even though you guys had approved that funding, this will actually reimburse the county for all, if not all of it, 95% of it. There will be some specific, she was going to do this anyway, but there will be some specific Board of Health COVID-related responsibilities that she does pursuant to that grant. So I'll be working with sanitarian, Board of Health, the health officer, et cetera. And so she'll be doing a lot of those and reporting on a regular basis. And then, well, I want to thank Mike and his staff. They've done a bunch of work to help get that office ready for her. We're excited about that. And I had something else about that, but that's the main thing I wanted to give you an update on.
Okay, thanks, Corey. So I guess there's 400 doses of COVID vaccine will be received. The joint vaccination clinic sponsored by Billings Clinic and Broadwater Public Health will be held at the Broadwater County Fairgrounds on March 11th, starting at 9 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. Call the COVID hotline at 603-4524 to make an appointment.
May I
Yeah.
speak a little further on this?
Yes.
Hi, Zoe Obert, Director of
Hey,
Nursing,
Zoe.
Billings Clinic, Broadwater. So we actually just had a meeting this morning, and we would just like to elaborate on that. We have an alternate number to call. So we're going to be doing 400 doses of COVID vaccine starting at 10 a.m. We're going to get out there and set up around 9, but the patients will start coming in at 10. We're going to go till 5. We are working with Teresa at the County Health Department, and the commissioners, thank you for your support and lending us Brittany to help out with the DES coordinator, so we appreciate that. So there's going to be 2 numbers to call. You can call the COVID hotline at 603-4524, or you can call 603-4536. And then we will be making phone calls based on the list that we already have of people that were interested in getting the COVID vaccine. And we're hoping to get lots more phone calls, and we're hoping to host another clinic, and there'll be more dates and times as we move forward. Thank you.
Okay, well, Zoe, so I guess so that everybody, you have to do these vaccinations 28 days apart.
28 days apart, and
So-
so this one that's scheduled for March 11th, the people that are coming will be expected to come back April 8th for their
Okay.
second dose.
Right, good. And then if we do an additional clinic, then there'll be another
28 days.
28 days, okay.
Yep,
All right, good. I just want to make sure everybody knows that.
thank you.
Yep. And so I guess I'm kind of learning about, so if we use the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, is that a one-time thing? They
That
would,
is
or
a
how
one-
does that work?
Yep, that is a 1-dose series, but at this point, we're not getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and we already have the doses of Moderna that we
Moderna.
requested from
Okay.
the state. Yep.
All right,
Anything
right.
else?
perfect.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your time.
Do we need to acknowledge?
Oh,
I don't know.
sure.
Did you hear anything?
You want to just acknowledge that we received that?
So we just want to have it, so,
Just to acknowledge that we received it, and we'll comment when the time's appropriate.
we also received a, letter from Tim Ravendall for questions and answers on several things, and when we find out what the answer is, we will get them to Mr. Ravendall. This letter will be on record. Let's see, so, you got minutes here from March 1st, 2021.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to accept the minutes from March 1st, 2021.
I will second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the minutes from March 1st, 2021. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
So I still don't see Marty there. I'm not sure what's wrong.
You have 2 sets of claims. The first claim is the approved list of claims, $27,039.82.
I will move to accept the claims for $27,039.82.
Is there a second?
And I will second the motion.
Motion's been moved and seconded to approve claims and set amount. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Payroll claims in the amount of $197,163.46.
I'll move to pay payroll claims and set amount.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to pay payroll claims and set amount. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Have you heard anything from Marty?
I'm going to send him this phone number. Maybe he can just call in. We can go that way.
The next thing that we have here is, we're waiting for Marty Lambert, the Gallatin County Attorney, to get a hold of us about discussion of a payment for the Laura Obert legal situation. So we'll try to do things here so we can't get interrupted on. The Cooperative Law Enforcement Annual Operating Plan and Financial Plan between Broadwater County and the USDA Forest Service. This is a plan between the Forest Service and law enforcement for occasional patrols to a total price of $3,500. It does not include fires, does it, Win?
No, no.
It's just normal patrols.
Yeah, so we usually try, like this time of the year, with the gates gonna start opening up in May. Horn hunters will kind of go out there and make sure people ain't driving off the road. You want me to come to the podium? We'll try to go out there, that's one of the things, we'll try to go out and just make sure people aren't off-road, doing off-road travel. During the fall, when we start, like last year, when we started to have the fire restrictions, the red flag warnings, we sent the guys out to make sure people weren't having campfires. And then when if they were cutting firewood, because it was that time of the year, we just kind of make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing and not putting us at risk of a forest fire. So it's really not a lot of money. It's $3,500, and part of that also can go to equipment. But it's something to help them out. And we've had the contract, I think, now for 25, 30 years. It used to be handled by the reserve component of the office. And in the last, since 2014, when I dissolved the reserve program, the full-time guys have done it. So kind of works out. Any questions?
Any further discussion?
Any public comment? Cheryl Campbell just said she's watching. We just had Claire Reading asking about Corey Swanson, county attorney. That's it.
We'll entertain a motion to approve the Cooperative Law Enforcement Annual Operating Plan and Financial Plan between Broadwater County Public Service and the USDA Forest Service.
I mean, like, it wasn't on our agenda, but, this is ministerial thing.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my question. I didn't see it on the agenda. Is there a deadline on this?
What's that?
Is there a deadline on when it has to be?
No, I don't believe there is.
So could you put it on next week's agenda and sign it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna get jammed up if it's not signed till next week?
I'm just gonna look here real quick.
Corey, I'm up, just ask, is that considered administrative, or that needs to be on the agenda?
It's public money. I'm pretty hesitant to not have it on the agenda.
Well, it looks like we're gonna need 2 copies of it anyway, so.
You do okay?
I think we'll be fine. So I'll just print another one out.
Okay.
And bring it over, but
So we'll put it on the agenda for next week.
I think we're fine, sir.
Okay, I guess we will go on here.
Hey, Marty, can you call us back at that number I texted you? I did text you on it. You're not on our Zoom, are you? Have you not been able to connect? Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes, we're ready to go. Thank you. So for whatever reason, he's not able to connect, I don't know.
So is he gonna call us?
He's gonna call us here. Thanks, Zoe.
Thank you.
was just for Marty. Oh, gotcha. Or maybe leave it up till he calls them.
Do you access the link at all, or?
Hello, are you there, Marty? Are you there?
I am.
Okay, very good. Somebody turned our ringer off.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
I'm sorry, we're having technical difficulties this morning, Mr. Chairman.
That's fine. We are too. So this is the discussion decision on payment of up to $10,000 for expert witnesses for the state of Montana versus Laura Ober. You have the
Good
floor.
morning, my name is, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, would you like me to proceed?
Yes, please.
Thank you. My name is Marty Lambert. I'm the Gallatin County Attorney. I'm a special deputy Broadwater County Attorney for the purpose of the case of State of Montana versus Laura Obert. I have discussed with a man named Joseph Waller, who is the managing member principal of the VI Consulting, who does work in financial crimes. He is retired from the federal government where he worked those cases for 30 years. He has agreed to provide expert services for this case. The defense has already given notice and expert witnesses have already testified for the defense in this case. So I ask that the board approve an amount of not to exceed $10,000 for Mr. Waller's services. I will try, and he has been very gracious with regard to his fee. He has agreed to a greatly reduced fee because he's working on behalf of Broadwater County. And I'm ready to answer any other questions you may have, and I hope you would approve payment of up to $10,000.
All right, Marty, is it my understanding that we have some assistance from the state on this as well?
You do. The state has actually graciously obligated themselves, this would be the Attorney General's office, for this up to $10,000 as well. So, yes, in effect, you're splitting the expenses of Mr. Waller's expert work with the state of Montana.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I do not.
So Marty, go ahead.
Can I make public comment?
Yes.
Well, we're not actually to that point yet.
Okay,
We
that's
need-
what
we
I
need-
wanted to
No,
make
we,
sure
yeah,
that
we
you
need to
were.
finish our
We need to have our
discussion
discussion
Okay.
first. Lost the question. So Marty, has the other side called expert witnesses for us to necessitate the us calling expert witnesses?
Yes, that, Mr. Chairman, that is part of it. And those experts have already, two of them have already submitted reports, and one has already testified in court.
Will the other expert and our expert be called to court?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and most likely that that would be the case, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Do we know at this point, Marty, whether this will be in-person testimony or done, video?
I don't know. We have done a great deal of testimony by video teleconference, 2 prior hearings in the case. So testimony may be done by that means, or may be done in person as well. Who knows going forward exactly what the procedures will be for the district courts in terms of going back to the standard live testimony practice. But testimony could be given that way by the consultant, by the expert, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? We'll take a public comment then.
Jennifer Dalrymple is a citizen of the Broadwater County in the state of Montana. I just wanted to state for the record my objection to any further taxpayer dollars being spent for this case and/or county time and personnel efforts being spent for a case. We have so many needs in our state and in our community and our county, and this is certainly not one of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have public comment on here also. So Claire Reading asks when the trial is set for or the date, and am I understanding correctly that this money is in support of the prosecution?
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we entertain a motion to approve the discussion of the payment of $10,000 for expert witnesses for the expense for state of Montana versus Laura Over. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to approve a payment up to $10,000 for expert witness in this case, state of Montana versus Laura Obert.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the expense of up to $10,000 for expert witnesses. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you, Marty.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry we had difficulty connecting, but I appreciate your time, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marty.
Okay, 10:10, discussion Valley of Morrisville District Court need for additional staff.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I came a little prepared, but not really prepared because I was gone all last week. So I'll give you each a copy of this. I kind of made a rough draft of what we do and to try to just need to take a deep breath here. To try to show you what we are coming up against. We have 4 judges, 2 administrative assistants, 4 scheduling clerks, and 4 court reporters that we work with in Helena. And of course, you know how it is with there's 4 judges and each of them do things a little differently and they want things done differently. They have their assistants, their legal assistants that do their orders and such. That they have each one has a scheduling clerk that does all of their scheduling. And of course, they each have a court reporter. The court reporters don't, really, they don't really affect our jobs so much, but just where they each have a scheduling clerk and an administrative assistant to do their works in Lewis and Clark counties, those jobs are for Broadwater County, I rely on Audrey and myself. As our court gets busier, then that uploads our workload. I listed the type of documents that we file. We have to index all of those documents into the file, and we index them, we scan them. First of all, we file them, then we index them, scan them, and then we have to file them back into the file. And now most of it used to be that we would get our documents by the mail. And so you would deal with your mail every day. But now a lot of people are emailing, so you have to print them out, file them, and then if the judges need to deal with it, then you have to scan them back in and send them into Helena for review. And then they review them, they sign them, then they send everything back, and then you file them and you send them out. And then you send them out to the parties, then you have to do your indexing, blah, blah, blah. We're in charge of filing our minutes for law and motion, miscellaneous hearings, and rescheduling hearings. We do all the scheduling conferences, which is scheduling of dates that documents have to be filed. Of course, with Corey getting a new deputy attorney, which he much needed, that adds more work to our office. We're now, a lot of our hearings are done by Zoom. So our office is responsible for setting up a Zoom meeting, sending out the invites to the Zoom meeting, making sure that the Zoom meeting is up and running for the court. And then during court, then it's our responsibility to make sure the invites, as people are attending, then we need to invite them in. We schedule all the trials and keep all the trial schedules up to date. We do our jury notices. When the juries go out, we have to send out letters and questionnaires, and they call in and say they can't do it, and so then we have to excuse them. It used to be the judges would do the excusals and stuff, and now the judges have put that back onto the clerk's office. Then if the trials go away, then we have to call all the juries. Anyway, you guys can read all that. But so I am just asking, and then this is my last term. So I would really like to get somebody else in the office to help and maybe continue, maybe somebody to run for the office. At this time, Audrey does not want to run for the office. So I think it's very important to get somebody in there and get it trained and knowledgeable for the upcoming elections. And I guess if you guys have any questions, I'd take them now.
Val, do you anticipate your load, when the courts do actually get back into function the way they're supposed to be, is there going to be a large amount of cases come up all of a sudden, or are we pretty well caught up on cases?
Well, as far as our criminal cases, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Our criminal cases are going pretty good, but like we had a record number last year, and I see that just keep on growing and growing and growing. I had the privilege of sitting with an officer last night coming home from Texas. He's from Nebraska. He's coming to do a meth thing at training this today, and he says it's just it's countrywide. It's just rapid, the meth and drug, and most of our cases are either drug or sexual assault, DUI, and it's not just the new cases either. It's the reoccurring cases. These people that get out of jail, and then they do something wrong, a probation violation. So then we do a revocation, and it's several revocations. It's not just one or two. And it's like when I first started this job, they said, well, there's lots of people that it's just return criminals. I think, oh, that's crazy. If somebody did something wrong, you would think that they would want to, to do it. But, there are criminals out there that are defendants out there that's their livelihood. So they just don't seem to learn. So it's not, like I said, it's not just the new cases, it's the revocations also that cause a lot of workload in our courts. And dissolutions are up too. So,
Well, you know, I remember us having this discussion last year. We knew that with Wynn, as he was able to get more deputies on board and more policing action out there, we knew that there was going to be this trickle-down effect that was going to start there and to Corey and to you. I mean, we did see this coming, and we've talked about it. And so, I mean, we hear what you're saying.
and I'm not trying to be negative here at all, but you know, when you share a person, okay, so when we were sharing like Janaea, and then we shared Leona, when you're splitting, this is going to sound horrible, but when you're splitting floors, and I don't mean that, I mean, I love everybody that works at Broadwater County, but it's just what goes down in the treasurer's office and that floor, you know, is totally different than what happens up in the clerk room, you know, because we're dealing with totally different, help me out here, Corey, totally different functions, subject matters, yeah. So it really, it causes a conflict because the parties down, that didn't make any sense.
You probably don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't,
yeah, good right there.
Yeah, because it's not a conflict, it's, never mind. Yeah. So I'll just leave it at
So
that.
you feel like you need your dedicated person, is what you're
Yes.
trying to say?
Mhm.
I think you said 32 hours
Mhm.
to 40,
Mhm.
so full-time.
Mhm.
So your current budget probably would not
No,
support.
it does not. And, you know, so I'm more looking into the new budget year.
Mhm.
So, also, that's all I'll say.
So this is something you're looking forward to the next fiscal year?
Yes,
So we could
yes,
possibly work it into that budget?
yes.
I get it.
Oh, and I know that I had also asked for scanning of documents,
Mhm.
and I don't know how important that is. I mean, it is very important, but I know that is a lot of money, and I would rather have the person in the office than to have my documents scanned. If that's, you know, if it comes between
Mhm.
that. So, is there any other questions?
I have no more.
Have you discussed this with Debbie as far as budget goes?
I had talked to her about getting someone in, right, you know, when we were talking earlier about it. And she said that there was money in there, because at first I said 24 hours, you know, if we could get it through. But I haven't talked to her for a new budget.
Okay.
Well, I just got elected, so it's 4 years. So it was 2004, 2024. Mhm. And I apologize if I upset anybody, because that's not what I meant to do. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks, Val. Any further discussion, any motion?
No, I mean, it's just something for us to take into consideration in this next upcoming budget.
And I think so, we need to have a solid budget from Debbie about where this is gonna go to with that. And also whether or not we're going to do the scan operation with the documents also.
And I'm out. A new job description? Because
Yeah.
this would be a new position.
Right.
So is that something
they-
Val and Debbie could work on, and Michelle?
Right. I mean, I think that they can do that fairly easily because they did have a part-time person there.
Oh,
I think they could probably easily do that, so. But they do need to they would have to work with Val and make sure that that job description would be something that would work for them.
Okay, so next up is discussion decision on the county building mass policy update. All right.
So this policy was uploaded to our our website, so that people had opportunity to view this before today's discussion. We do have copies here for anyone that would like a copy of it. I guess I'll start out with, I mean, our intent here is to protect our employees. I mean, we have an obligation to protect our employees. That's our job. We're not trying to make some big statement here and turn this into a political argument. The fact of the matter is our employees are our family, and we would protect them as same as we would protect our own family. And I think that's all we're asking to do. I guess that's all I got to say.
I would just add to protect our employees and also the public. There's a lot of public that come in and out of the buildings.
There it is.
And so to protect the employees and the public.
And I think the one thing that's in here is the county commission provides this policy to continue its responsibility to provide a healthy public workspace for its employees, citizens, and persons who access the county facility. Although a lot of people don't agree with the policy, the problem is it's not whether you agree with it or not, it's we're trying to keep our offices open so that we can supply services to our constituents. If and most of our offices can realistically work from home. However, the clerk and recorder's office can't work from home because they are tied into a state secure system, so they have to do all their work from the courthouse. If one person gets sick in there, we're in a 14-day shutdown for quarantine again, possibly a 7. Hopefully, as people get the vaccination, we won't have to worry about that. But the main part of that is to try to keep the building open so we can conduct the business that we're supposed to conduct.
And there's also a portion of this policy that addresses people that have an underlying health condition if they are unable to wear a mask. We've taken that into consideration.
Is there any other discussion, any public comment?
No, we have third reading asking if this is the 1015 mask policy agenda.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I think Corey has something.
Corey?
I had a question, Mr. Chairman. So I worked on this based on all the discussion that happened last week. And I guess I just wonder how you would plan to address, well, one, Commissioner Folkward already addressed it. If someone says, I have a health condition, I can't wear a mask, you know, the language says here, we use these measures as consistently as possible, but may be modified as dictated by common sense and needs of the public. And then in the next paragraph, I just kind of want to know how you want to handle this. It says, in any meetings in which social distancing can be enjoyed, the presiding officer shall determine whether strict compliance with the mask order is necessary. In all cases where persons are speaking or communicating less than 6 feet apart, they shall utilize the mask or otherwise divert airflow as a matter of courtesy. So if we were in this meeting and we had, you know, someone sitting in my chair and they were far away from everyone, I mean, would it be a common sense policy to say wear a mask when you enter and leave, and if you're 10 feet away from people, you can remove it, or I just want to know, because obviously that situation is all hypothetical, and I want to know how people can expect to handle something like that.
I guess one of the big unknowns and nobody can answer this question, is the people that are asymptomatic. They feel good, they show no symptoms, and in their mind, they're good to go. But for those folks that may have an underlying health condition that they're worried about, I know I'm one. I know this gentleman sitting next to me. We're concerned about that. There's no need for us to be exposed to a potentially deadly virus that could cause us harm. So if people, we take them at their word, we hope that they're honorable. They say they have an underlying health condition, they can't wear a mask. We'll honor that. And I guess that's how I feel about that.
I would agree with that completely. And I would also hope that the general public coming in to pay their taxes or get their driver's license or license plates or whatever would be respectful and kind to the county employees. They're doing their job. They're working for you. Please don't harass them or give them your opinion about the mask. I hope people just wear a mask, do the business, and leave.
The other thing is, it's not going to be here forever. We're going to have this vaccination clinic shortly. That's 400 people, and I think they're planning to actually have another one. So I think once we can get through this list of our folks that are at the that can be potentially harmed the greatest, I think that we can feel confident, maybe starting to relax that a little bit. I think that's my goal, and I will address that at another time. Mike, you want to have a comment?
Yes, well,
Just for clarification, Mr. Chair. You know, I think that everything that we talked about last week, I think, has been addressed. I haven't, but it just sounded like it's changed quite a bit. Is there somewhere in here that says, like, we're going to revisit this in the next once a month, or is it, or anything like that? And I always why I say that is obviously the vaccines. We have 3 vaccines running around now. They are getting pumped out there quicker. Same breath with that is just that there's got to be some light at the end of the tunnels. You know, I looked at the COVID numbers over the weekend. You know, we're down. They reported 75 over the weekend. You know, the numbers of amount of diagnosed cases are down too. And I think that if you're revisiting on a regular basis and let the public know you're going to revisit on a regular basis instead of stuff it off in the corner, I think people are going to be more apt to be more compliant. They need to see light at the end of the tunnel and not a continuing blanket of however you want to see it. So, but I do appreciate you guys covering those things that we talked about last week. I think it was important, and obviously some of those things being brought up alluded to the fact that there's not some folks sitting in the room today discussing it either. So, but that's all I have. So, thank you.
thanks, man.
And I think you're right. We kind of talked about it just a little bit. I mean, once we get the most vulnerable population of our citizens taken care of, I feel better about that. I think that everybody can be responsible enough to take care of themselves, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, this is the big test. This is the test for our community, for everybody out there. If they can be responsible and we can continue to bring those numbers down, I see no reason to have to continue to revisit this. But it's up to us. We're the ones that will, as a community, will be the gauge for that.
Any other comment? So I guess we'll have entertain a motion to approve the new county building mask policy updates.
I would move to accept the amended county policy requiring face coverings in county buildings.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and second to approve the amended county policy regarding face coverings in buildings. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay, next up, Discussion when Meehan, Broadwater County Sheriff, Meadowlark Digital Scanning Project.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning yet again. It sounds like everybody kind of went down the same rabbit hole here. When I was over in the clerk and recorder's office, and I was speaking with Braden Burns about his project there. I said, I've got 2 record rooms that's full of information that I can't access. And when I sent you guys an email, which I didn't print out today, one of that is, Rich Thompson, who was sheriff, went into the technological age in 1997 and went with Swift Records Management, which was out of Butte to be the computer version of law enforcement records management. And that we stayed with that until 2014. And Brenda Ludwig, the sheriff, then switched over to a thing called Spillman Nova. And we utilized Swift, the 20 years of data that was in there, as archive only. Well, unfortunately, somewhere in 2018, that server shredded or died or crashed or whatever you want to call it. And that 20 years of data is no longer in existence. And the only thing I have is probably 30 or 40 file cabinets plumb full of information that I can't access. And so I asked Braden to come over. I said, hey, come over and look at it, see what you can do. Because I need to be able to access that data. It's jail records, it's civil, it's cases from from all variety of things. It's everything that has happened in this county over that time frame. And so he did. He proposed it, and up to some of this stuff that's back there, I need to check to see what we have to hold on to. When we talk about can we just shred things? Well, in cases of felony DUI, you need to be able to prove that a person under their first, second, and third was provided an implied consent form and that they acknowledge their rights at the time of that arrest. And if that didn't happen, that does not count as, that's removed as one of the offenses to make it a fourth. And so that data is really pretty important to the prosecution here and abroad, because that happens anywhere. That's not just here. There's other things in there that obviously I don't even know where to start into some of that, but there's no way to do it. So Braden's proposed to go and scan everything, put it into a system, work with our current records management system and try to get that data transferred over into the central point or Zerker, so we have an accessible way to access that through a name search. And so there's a lot there, and like I said, I don't know how long those records have been back there, but they've been back there a long time. And so one of the things I also said in there was that I didn't have the money in my budget for it. I wasn't really planning on it. It just, an opportunity was here with what's being done in the treasurer's office. And like I said in my email, I requested that it be funded through the COVID relief money that came in. It's up to $80,000. Some of it, like I said, some of it I got to check to see if I can just get rid of it. I've probably got, oh gosh, I don't know, there's a shelf, 2 shelves back there that is just civil paperwork, and I don't know if that has to be retained or not. I gotta do some checking on that, and I told the guys I would, so that would lower the cost down as well. And some of it, there's a lot there, so that's why I offered if you guys wanted to come over and take a visit, you could as well. If I need to do something, so I don't know what else to do with it. So if anybody's got a question for me, I would.
So, we always have some little fly in the ointment, right? And I was going through our procurement policy, and it's I think it's over 80,000 we're supposed to do the RFP process. My question is do you think that there's some room for this to be less? I actually
I
think,
do.
I think this is a little expensive, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
and one of the hard parts with that is, you know, when Austin came over, you pull a drawer, and he's taking a variety, he's just taking samples of that drawer, and that's what he's looking at to try to do it. So there's things in there that not necessarily are gonna need to be, they're not double paged, or they don't have this or that. The other part of that, like I said, is we have those boxes, those 2 shelves of boxes that is literally envelopes of civil paper. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure why. I mean, they go back to 1989, and I don't know why. And Tammy was my records gal, and obviously when she passed, I was not able to put a USB port into her mind and download all the information she had. So I am kind of on a learning curve myself right now, trying to get this figured out. But I don't foresee it being that. There's a lot of things that I think that it's going to be a lot smoother than what they project. But just from the samples that he had, it is a long process, and I mean, you're talking 3.5 to 4 months if everything went well. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time to be running papers through a scanner and then sorting it out into specific names to be searched. So I do think it's going to be less than that, and he knows that as well. So.
Okay. The other thing that, you know, this is a process that we followed last time when we did this, is we did get bids from other agencies or other companies. I'm going to give you this right here.
Okay.
We need to follow that process, and then go from there.
Okay. So, and I wasn't sure, and you know, it was one of those that I told him, I kind of, my eyebrow went up a little bit when I saw it as well, and you know, the same breath, that ain't my forte. I'm a cop. I'm a cop in a corner. I pronounce death and I investigate crime. I'm not anything about computers, scanners, and heaven forbid if I can get my report done on a computer and it saves, I'm doing fairly well. So, you know, like I said, I didn't see no idea what the treasurer's office looked like. And with them being here, I know part of that mobilizing a faction to that is a cost as well. So kind of like doing a highway, moving that hot plant around. You know, if it's there, it's a lot cheaper. So it's kind of the philosophy in my mind. So I will reach out to Shauna and have a discussion with them as well.
Yeah,
So.
do that, and anybody else you might can think of. I know at the time that we went through this, they were probably the only 2 that were really doing it, and there's a lot of competition, or a lot of that people have realized the value of this, and trying to get them here is tough to do. But I understand what you're saying. I think this is it's worthwhile project. You know, Corey has some stuff and Val has some stuff that probably should be done. It just makes us all that much better.
Yep.
So I think that it's definitely something that we'll consider. We'll just.
Yeah, I just like to be able to access the data, and I mean, there's the guy who created that Swift management. We talked to him. He's like, well, for $32,000, I can try to figure it out. So is that 100% guarantee? Well, no. I can't give you $32,000 to go on a fishing expedition. And then on top of it, if he was able to recover some, he was going to want $8,000 a year to maintain it, and that just doesn't seem financially.
Is this going to be kind of a separate data access system from your Zerker, or things like?
So my goal in what talking with Braden, his computer guru and Zerker were supposed to have a conversation. And so ultimately what would be optimal is that whatever they were scanned and they put into whatever format, then they could transfer that to Zerker, and Zerker could download that into that system.
Okay.
So it's all based on one. If it doesn't work, then it'd be a separate hard drive that could be saved to the cloud as well as on that.
Right.
And it's still accessible through a different search port, but at least it's there. You know, and we get believe it or not, I get requests all the time. Anybody goes in the military wants a top secret clearance or anything like that. And they say, well, I got a ticket or I was arrested or whatever in Broadwater County in 2000. They call and we need to see the file. Yeah, I'd love to find it for you. I don't even know where to start. And so there's a lot of that is out there. And I think realistically in today's age, I mean, we really have to put our best foot forward to try to get that information out, because we don't know who we've dealt with. And you know, a lot of people don't realize, and I'll use this as a prime example. When I say we don't know who we're dealing with, I was sitting in a class, in a training, and on terrorism and international terrorism and domestic terrorism. And one of my deputies' reports popped up on the screen. And I was like, that's my guy. And I'm like, what? And I didn't even know about this. And what I find out is that one of our deputies dealt with an Al-Qaeda terrorist that was brought to America during the Bush time presidency, and under one of their things, and was going to school in Bozeman. And while he was going to school in Bozeman, he was sending out his propaganda to Al-Qaeda. And we dealt with him in a bar fight, is what we dealt with. Well, as soon as that happened, he was in jeopardy of being removed, and now he's taking asylum in Switzerland. So, you know, that information is important to be able to access. And I think that's a key component of what we deal with in our world right now. So, with that being said, I will do some more.
Okay.
And do you want me just to email you back, or how would you like me to proceed?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess the way we did it in the past is we determined the best value between the two, and that's how we settled on Meadowlark Search, and just make us another presentation. I know as far as for the exact contract, we went back and forth several times with Corey to make sure that everyone was protected, and so we can work with Corey a little bit on that, I think.
Okay. And like I said, I hate to take up your guys' time. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize there was a different process, and so we can work on that as well. So, okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Gwen.
Thanks, Ben. We do have two different comments on here too. We have clear reading that's asking what the provisions are. What provisions are you making for people who can't attend in person, risk group, and aren't on the internet? Any call and telephone numbers, like are used on Zoom meetings. She wants to know what the numbers are, case numbers, I'm guessing. And then Bernadette Swenson said she's watching and available if any questions are on the next agenda item on peaceful Hilltop Minor subdivision.
Okay. All right, perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
You know, I guess I'll make somewhat of a comment on that. I mean, when I first became a commissioner in Broadwater County, if you didn't come to this meeting, that was your only choice. Now we have the ability to email and mail. We have you can comment and participate online. I mean, we've done everything we can to help everybody participate in these meetings. If you have something that if you cannot make the meeting or you can't participate in one of these other forums, I would say come talk to us personally, send us an email, whatever it is, and we will, we'll discuss it. Anybody else have any other thoughts or ideas on that?
No, I don't. I think, since I've been here, we've made everything as transparent, as open to people as we can. There's a big gap in how we communicate with people, and it's pretty hard to take care of because people don't read the newspaper. People won't want to look online. Some people don't have the ability to look online. We're doing as much on our end as we can to make things open and available to people whenever and wherever we can.
Yeah. And the other thing too, these documents are available in the clerk and recorder's office. There's a book there that we try to put everything in as well. So if you cannot view them online, they are there for you to come in and view personally. So.
Okay, let's see next. restating condition number 1 of the Peaceful Hilltop subsequent minor subdivision. This has to do with number 1, the condition of approval had the DEQ in there instead
Thanks, Lynn.
of
Thanks, Corey.
the Broadwater County Environmental Health Department. Condition number 1 should read, plans for sewage treatment and water supplies shall be submitted to the Broadwater County Environmental Health Department for review and approval. The letter of approval shall be filed with the final plot. And in the first one, it said that it was submitted to the DEQ for review and approval, but Broadwater County Environmental Health Department does the review and approval. So is there a motion to change the wording in condition number 1 of the application for Peaceful Hilltop subsequent minor subdivision?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion to change the Peaceful Hilltop subsequent minor subdivision wording in condition 1, replacing DEQ with Broadwater County Environmental Health Department.
Is there any further, or is there a second to
I
the
will
motion?
second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay, to kick off the name Opportunity Bank, kick off to name the Opportunity Bank building.
Nine.
Yep.
Why don't you move Nick up the line so he can get back to doing his work?
Oh, that'd be good, okay.
Oh, he's got plenty of time.
Whatever.
So Nick, you want to go ahead with your
Sure.
purchase of a commercial washer and dryer for the detention center?
Yeah, so maintaining that jail sometimes is a challenge, and something that, you know, you don't think about is the amount of laundry that gets done in there. Anywhere from, I mean, it's 20 to 55 inmates, you know, trying to do their laundry between their clothes, their sheets, blankets. Some they can purchase their own laundry off of, or their own clothes off of commissary. And so we have to wash all that for them. I don't know how many washers and dryers over the years we've gone through. The current one right now, it's the warranty just expired on it, and they kept coming and fixing it under warranty and fixing this and fixing that, and they finally, it's done and over with. Starting to have some issues already with it, so we're trying to get ahead of the ball and try to get an option figured out before it completely breaks down. And talking with Mike Myers and Kenny and Wynn, I think we're wanting to just do it right now and hopefully be able to get a commercial washer and dryer in there. It's going to be a little expensive, but we're hoping that it saves money down the road. That washer turns on. I mean, we got an inmate worker. Every time I go down there, the washer and dryer are running. You can only fit 1 or 2 of the wool blankets in the washer at a time. So to get 30 wool blankets washed takes forever. You guys, so I know Mike and Daryl have been in the back room back there. I don't think you have you, Debbie? You should come over sometime and look at it.
I would like that, yeah.
So you know where the washer and dryer is in the back room. Me and Mike went down there, and Kenny, I think it was last week, and we started measuring to make sure everything would fit. Part of this, I'm asking for up to $18,000, and it's going to be out of the inmate welfare fund, because this is for their welfare to keep their laundry clean. This is not out of the county budget or anything. It's all money that we get put into an account off of commissary items, food items, their phone calls, video chats, all of that. We get a percentage of that. money that the inmates spend, we put it aside and we can only use it for their welfare. A washer looks like it's going to be about $10,530. The steel base, I'm not going to go with that option because I don't need it. The dryer is going to be $4,455, and then the freight on that's estimated $985. The bottom option there to install, that's going to go away because Mike and Kenny are going to put that in. And then we're going to have to tear some stuff out to make it fit because they're so big. You know, there's a sink in there. We're going to have to tear that out and put a standalone sink and make it a little lower just for mop buckets and stuff like that. And then there's some countertops and cabinets off to the other side of the current washer and dryer. We're going to have to rip all those out to make it fit. And then in order to store some of those items that are in there, there's extra soap, shampoo, all that stuff. We're going to get, Mike's going to look into getting some cabinets to hang on the wall above the eye wash station back there. So that's where the extra money is to, you know, and he's going to need a few parts and pieces to he's going to have to replumb for the washer, fix the dryer vent a little bit. I don't think he has to do too much with that, but, and then getting cabinets and stuff. So I guess that's what I'm asking for. So hopefully we can get it done right now instead of coming back and having to get a new washer and dryer in a couple years.
I know that's been a challenge over the years. I mean, we've always tried to buy what we thought can do the job, and it just wears out.
It does, and it's, you know, a lot of those washers and dryers are made for maybe like a family of 5, 6, 7, not a family of 40.
Yep.
So it runs
Yep.
all the time, and it's wanting to get it done right. And it's going to be a tight fit too. I mean, we went down there, and when you open the door in there, it's only with the door open to this washer, there'll be about 3 inches, but there will be about 3 feet to walk by it when the door's closed and it's running.
All right, good. That was one of the questions we had. Mike assured us that it would fit, so.
I went down there with him. We measured and double measured. And we thought about getting just like 2 washers and 2 dryers, but I think we're going to run into the same option because they're just going to be, you know, they're still going to be running all day. Where these commercial washers and dryers are the same ones they put in laundromats and stuff like that, where they're used to running high capacity and for long periods of time.
I have a question as far as warranty work or after the warranty. Is there somewhere
So
locally to?
Yeah, so I talked to Mike. He said there's a guy in Helena that can work on them. He said that this washer and dryer, each part is warranted at a certain time. Some of it's 3 years, some of it's 5 years, and I think he said some of it might be 10 years. So, but there is a guy in Helena, he looked into that can come and work on them. Obviously, if it's out of warranty, I'm hoping that if a part is out of warranty, we can just fix that part, and then instead of having to buy a whole new washer and dryer. I mean, I think that's kind of how these are built. I was looking at his specs, a lot of the mechanical stuff on these is on the outside of it, behind the washer and dryer instead of inside the case of it, so it should be a little easier to fix once in a while, hopefully. Hopefully we don't have to worry about it for a while.
And are you confident that the 18,000, up to 18,000 includes everything that Ken and Mike will have to do?
Yeah, I talked to Mike. I don't know. I think that was kind of a safe kind of bet. I mean, really the washer and dryer, you're looking at about 16,000. And then, I mean, cabinets aren't going to be, we only need that one, and then just a sink really is the only thing, and then little parts here and there, which I don't think those will add up to be too much. So the cabinets shouldn't be, they don't have to be anything fancy. And he seemed pretty confident that that would be right at where, and it, like I said, it's all coming out of inmate welfare. So.
How far out is this? How long, I mean, what was our time frame?
I I don't really know. Some of it is, there's a lot of variables in there, and that's how busy Mike and Ken are.
Okay.
Seems like they've been really busy lately, especially with his generator projects and stuff like that that are coming up. It doesn't sound like it'll take him real long to get them installed.
Sure.
It's hard to say when. I would hope they'd be, by the time they get here, he'd be able to do it within, sounds like about 2 days, he'd be able to install it. It's how far these guys are on shipping it, I don't know.
Okay.
I think it sounds like it's very much needed, and the funds are coming out of the inmate welfare account.
Yeah.
So you're not asking for anything.
No, it's all
General
being,
fund or anything.
Mhm.
it's all being paid by them.
Okay.
And that's kind of why we save a lot of that money is for situations like this.
Yeah. I don't have any other questions.
I don't have any. So is there a motion to approve the request to purchase a commercial washer and dryer for the detention center?
Go ahead, Deb.
I will move to purchase the washer and dryer for the detention center with the funds coming out of the inmate welfare account, up to $18,000.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the purchase of a commercial washer and dryer with funds to come from the inmate welfare fund up to $18,000. Is there any further discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys. Have a good day.
You too.
So we'll go back to kick off the name of the Opportunity Bank building.
We've just kind of tossed this around
Yep.
since I came on.
I guess it's something that we've been wanting to do for a long time, but we've had a lot of things seem like got in the way of getting this done. And so everybody asks where your meeting is at. We have to always say, well, the old Opportunity Bank building, which if you're from around here, you probably know where that's at. But
With all the new people, they don't.
they don't. So I guess this is a good time to kind of kick that off. Is that something that, just kind of a little contest? What do you think? You want to just have people email us with some ideas?
And I think I know that we could put something in the reporter
Sure.
to get it out to just email or drop off or whatever their name suggestions.
Yeah, I think that'd be
Yeah, I
great.
think that'd be a good idea.
Okay. All right, well, I mean, I hope that people will participate in this little project and we can find a great name for this building.
So we'll put that out and see what kind of reply we get on that.
Sure.
So next, discuss future budget process concerning Bill Jiraki.
I guess I'll talk a little bit about that. I guess last year we thought about bringing Bill Jiraki in to help us with our budget process. The public safety mill levy and a couple other things kind of took precedent on that, and his help was needed there. So I think this year it would be a great idea for us to bring Bill in to help us with our budget. He charges $50 an hour. And he will participate in any way that we ask him to participate. I know that he has some great ideas, and I think that he could probably help us.
I would agree. We had Bill come in on the sheriff's levy, and he was a tremendous amount of help. Just having that outside set of eyes looking at issues, and this is This is not a reflection on our finance department. They do an excellent job. This is more of a education for commissioners and other people involved in the budget process to make the financial department's job a little easier when they're trying to discuss budget, which annually turns into a war over money most of the time. It seems like what we're trying to do here. And I think that Bill's advice and insight into a lot of the things that he does will give us a more streamlined, more open process when we do the budget, actually.
Yeah, I think his perspective on things may be a little bit different. Like you say, to give us a different view of our budget than what we've had in the past. And see if there's some ways that we can make some changes. Maybe there's some areas that we have shortfalls. Maybe some areas that we have an excess in, and we can, maybe he can point some of those out.
I think on any large subject matter, it's always good to have an outsider viewpoint on it. Sometimes you get too close to it. We employees, Debbie and Michelle do a fantastic job. That's not the issue whatsoever. But just to have somebody else say, hey, have you thought about this? And not just somebody, but Bill is an expert in this field. And at $50 an hour, I think that is very kind of him.
Yeah.
So is there a motion to hire Bill Jiraki for budget process? And also, I would think that we would want to set some kind of a limit on it. I don't have any idea what it would be.
Well, you know, I don't either. I mean, it's going to be however many hours that he would spend here. I guess that's kind of hard to tell at this point. We could set a limit. The only thing is, if we set a limit and we feel that we need more from Mike, we would just have to come back and discuss it again.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chairman, on the agenda, it just says discussion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It does not say decision.
So I would
That's
think
true.
that if we could talk to Bill and maybe he has an idea on what that's going to cost,
Mm-hmm.
and then we would have to drop a contract with him to that point.
I agree.
Okay.
You know, the other thing that we discussed last year as well, and I think I'd like to follow through with this, is we talked about having a citizen budget committee, so to speak, select a couple folks from our community to sit on this panel as well and receive their input into our budget. So I would like to follow through with that idea as well.
And we'd want to have them in place when the process starts.
Right, and they'd be a part of this. They would work with us and our staff and Bill Jiraki, and we'll see what comes of it.
Okay. So I guess if we're going to go ahead with this, any citizen who would be interested in sitting in on the budget group for budget discussion and also some education on the budget, we'd ask them to send an email to Broadwater Planning so we can get a group organized and try to get going on this. Budget season probably starts about the middle of this month, so we don't have a whole lot of time, but this will be kind of a work in progress while we're going through the budget, I would assume.
Yep.
Is there anything else to come before the commission?
You know, I guess something that I did want to do at the beginning of the meeting, and we kind of got caught up in our technical difficulties. I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that our dear friend Kelly Flynn has passed away, and we will miss him. He's a great member of our community, a great friend to all of us, and to please keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers.
Anything else? Not, we will adjourn at 11:33.